What's up, guys? I'm excited to announce that this is the 100th episode of the TruthSeekah podcast. And at the same time, we've reached number 100 in Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for believing in my work, my music, and the podcast. Thank you guys so much for supporting it. We're only getting started, and there's great things ahead. 100 episodes, 100 patrons. The synchronicity is amazing. Thank you guys. I hope you all enjoyed this episode with Matthew Silver, the wackadoo, as much as I did. Shalom, shalom.
TruthSeekah and or its affiliates are not responsible for any strange phenomena that may occur during or after listening to this podcast, which may include the following: heightened senses of awareness, psychic abilities, UFO sightings, alien contact, time loss, out-of-body experiences, ringing in the ears, ESP, lucid dreaming, increased synchronicities, astral projection, telepathy, stronger intuition, levitation, miraculous healings, and or remote viewing. Please be advised to listen at your own discretion.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the TruthSeekah podcast.
Gargoyles, psychics, everything's ungodly. Dark Savage.
Streaming live at TruthSeekah.com.
She's not a Christian.
Give it up, y'all.
Your portal to the paranormal, esoteric, and all things spiritual.
She's tampering in Dark Savage stuff.
And now, your host, TruthSeekah.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, TruthSeekah. This is the TruthSeekah podcast. I'm excited and delighted to be with you guys here, sharing this sacred space. I'm excited. This is the big episode number 100. I've been doing this podcast for a while, and this is the 100th episode. Thank you guys for sticking with me, bearing with me over the years, and finally got to episode number 100, man. I'm excited about this and the way the podcast is headed and building with you guys and this community. It's been awesome. So thank you guys for supporting me over the years. Everybody who's supporting my work over at Patreon.com. Couldn't do this without you, so thank you so much. If you want to support, head on over to patreon.com/TruthSeekah. There you'll get extra episodes, you get access to my entire discography of music, all kinds of cool stuff that we have there. We have the School of the Mystics, is something we do on Thursday nights. It's community-based teaching and courses that we're going through together. So if you guys want to be a part of that, check out what I have to offer. Head on over to patreon.com/TruthSeekah. Thank you guys for the support. It means the world. The podcast is free to consume. It's not free to produce. So thank you guys so much for the support. Without further ado, man, we have a great show lined up for you guys. I've been wanting to talk to this person for a while, but we've been trying to make it happen, and we finally got on the same page with schedules and everything. This episode, I'm joined by Matthew Silver, the wackadoo. What's going on, my brother?
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, man, thanks for joining me here, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
So for people who don't know what you do, you're definitely a street performer, but there's like, you know, you're a street performer, but there's like an agenda behind it, right? It's just not to go out there to entertain people. I think entertainment's part of it, but I think that spreading, like it says on your website, consciousness through love and getting people to kind of step outside of their comfort zone and know that it's okay to laugh and okay to smile, and spreading love through the gift of performance. You want to talk a little bit about what you do and what you bring to the table?
Well, you just, summarized it real well. It's basically the intention is to evolve the planet and In order to do that, one good way is to wake people up. And, you know, it's an exercise to help realize, like, the evolution of the planet has to be a conscious decision. It won't just. A lot of times back in the days, my friends would say, 2012, there's going to be this beam of magnetic light from the planets, and all of a sudden everybody's going to evolve. I mean, we each have free will, and most people are like, evolving, what is that? But I mean, it would inspire us all. It would help us all to feel more connected. And yeah, like the main thing that will evolve the planet is love.
Do you think something happened in 2012? I know it was like kind of I think there was a shift that happened. Maybe if it wasn't in the spiritual realm or in the planet shifting, maybe people were looking forward to something happening. So within something happened. I know I kind of went deeper, you know what I'm saying, during that time period and getting into esoteric teachings and documentaries and things like that. Do you think something happened as a collective? Maybe that it was like an okay to be yourself or okay to be spiritual type deal or anything like that?
Yeah, why not? I mean, but I don't think it's like any... Well, from my personal experience, I don't think it was like one... I didn't feel it as one big moment. It's just been a gradual, like, the opening of new spiritual ideas has always been like this gradual incline. I mean, at the same time, you still have people who are stuck, but you also have a higher amount of people who are more open to this whole. I mean, spirituality is. I mean, that's just a general. Right, it's just a general statement, but it's the awakening. It's the awakening within, you know, and that's. I mean, in a way, that's like what. I mean, I feel like our messages are like, wake up yourself within, and maybe 2012 more of that happened.
Yeah, like it was okay. Like it's almost like an excuse to be spiritual, or because I think a lot of people are having this change within them, but it's like an okay. You don't have to keep it closet. We're going through this together. There's tons of documentaries. Everybody's doing interviews about it. Those type of things. I definitely had a shift as far as that is concerned, looking into a lot of stuff, and some things shifted for me. Not like when the clock struck 12 or whatever the case was, and then it was like that polar shift, but that whole time frame of seeing like a resurgence of a lot of spiritual stuff. Even if we look into like veganism or essential oils and stuff like that, if you look at the Google search terms, like those things are skyrocketing. Third eye, spirituality, meditation, all of this stuff, yoga, you know what I'm saying? From that point to today, those search terms are just going just a gradual increase. So I think that's really neat.
Wow.
So talk a little bit about this. I wanted to talk about the path of the fool, right? So there's this place of essentially making yourself vulnerable to make other people smile, to make other people laugh, to kind of break that hard shell that we try to kind of put up and be reserved or be just in the, you know, this persona or whatever the case is. But when like you're out there performing and you walk up to random people, make them laugh, you do little silly things. They don't know if you're a crazy person, which I guess that's the character you play, or just a piece of you as well. I think that's definitely a part of you. But talk a little bit about what happens when you engage people. Some people are reserved, some people walk away, other people join right in, and a huge smile jumps on their face, and these people are dancing and singing with you out in public and things like that.
Well, like I said, it's I'm performing out there, and I'm looking for well, now it's more like consciousness shift. Before it's just like smiles, but it's not just smiles. It's like you said, you're out there, you put yourself vulnerable. You become, we're a collective, right? We're all connected. We're all one. But then you're putting yourself out there, and then you're standing out. But you're still all connected. But what happens is I guess as an artist or as a spiritual or whatever, people see themselves in you, right? Mm-hmm. And they walk past it, and maybe some people say, "Oh, I would never be caught doing that. That's hideous. I would. I hate this guy. Well, I don't want to, or they just." And then others, they see an awakening to it. They're really positive, and it's just a good thing that to be what you're doing with this talk show, or you become an example. Mm-hmm. You become an example of consciousness or consciousness awakening. Mm-hmm. Not everybody sees it that way, but if it's something that people, when I look at people's looks, they're like, they have this pause in their face. I have no idea what they're thinking. If they're thinking anything, it is a trigger. It is a trigger. People are like, why? But nonetheless, it's important. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do in life. Anything that you're putting your mind to is important. So, I'm putting my mind to conscious shifting. I'm doing my conscious effort for that.
How important is that too? Because I feel like you're doing what you were put here to do, what you were sent here to do. You're doing what you love for a living. You do this daily or whatever the case is. How important is finding what moves you, what kind of makes your heart beat, and to actually pursue that versus being stuck at the dead end 9-to-5s and things like that, where people just feel like they're stuck and they're trapped, versus being able to get up and enjoy life and do what you love for a living on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I feel like it's you have to choose what you're doing. You have to be present and not say everything is controlling you, and you're just your unconscious mind, you're reactionary, you know what I mean? Like mm-hmm. you're just I gotta do this, I don't want to do it. And I have, with what I do, I have a strong intention. Every year I change it a little bit, but it's mostly very much the same. This year I say before I go out there, I say we are shifting the planet to love consciousness with the gift of love. So it's that excites me. That excites me, like a planetary shift, which is happening already. So I'm doing my part to be a part of it,
So as far as
I feel I'm excited. It's something drives me. It's yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm just now getting into that place where I'm able to even do this show for a living, and I do music as well. But I've just now got to a place where I'm able to kind of wake up and do what I love for a living. And the freedom that comes to that. I get to wake up and kind of write a song. Like my goal for the day is to write a song or be creative and work on art and things like that in order to make a living off of it as well. There's a huge place that people are watching other people do that, and it helps. So watching you do what you love and what kind of moves you, it's envious in a way, and it would move me to essentially jealousy, but in a good way, in a jealous way to do, okay, I need to see what I can do to align myself up where I can wake up and do what I love for a living. So I think that people watching this show, they see me doing this. I would go to like tattoo parlors and stuff. I got some ink done, and see people who go to work and they love their job. They're doing what they love. They're happy. And that's envious, man. And there's a lot of people who are stuck in like the dead end jobs or just on default. They're just living. They're a product. They've got a job, whoever would hire them at the time, and they've been there 10, 11 years, 5 years, whatever the case is. But they inwardly, they want to do their passion, but they don't know how, man. So would there be any tips, to do anything? I know we're talking about spirituality and stuff kind of mixed in there with it. Is there like an inward knowing or maybe some time in meditation where you can kind of get that game plan and say, this is what I want to do and do it? Was there a big shift for you when you said, I'm going to do this and be consistent and show up and not just do this once a month or once every other week or whatever the case is, just to be consistent and in finding things working for you?
Yeah, it's I mean, you really got to see that you, no matter what point in time is, you really got to see that you have a choice, it's, I mean, you're doing whatever you're doing your thing to connect with the world. And if you're not connecting and you feel isolated, you've got to either change your perspective or you got to change what you're doing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Life is only as exciting, as adventurous as you make it,
and you have the ability
it's really difficult. It's really difficult to get up in the morning and you're doing something that doesn't, help with you. First you are the most important, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't love yourself, then the world around you becomes a reflection of not loving yourself. It becomes a reflection of your hate or your indifference or whatever. So, the first thing is you gotta it's all important, like what you're doing now. And then, because, what if you follow your dreams and you still hate yourself,
Mm-hmm.
You gotta make sure that your inner psychology, I don't know. I'm sorry. Did I sidetrack or whatever?
No, it's all good, man. It's just a conversation. Yeah, I think it's about, getting that goal. And we talk about like going into meditation and kind of get a game plan. Because it's almost like pulling yourself back to the moment to, like you said, kind of be in charge of your life and not just be a victim of other people's decisions or just doing what you can to get by, but you can consciously create your life and you don't have to be the victim anymore. And once you do that, there's a freedom in it that you find that can't be bought or sold, even if it has to do with like maybe doing without some of the finer things in life or wearing name brand clothes or these things that people try to look for or going out to eat all the time, whatever it is. Like, it's okay to do without that stuff to do what you love for a living, like the sacrifices that you got to make. I remember following you years ago, man. I first found you. You only had a couple hundred followers on like social media. I found you like a gem, and I was just sharing you with all my friends and fan base and stuff like that. And then eventually it caught on, and your page just blew up. Your videos would get hundreds of thousands of views. You have one video that went viral. The meaning of life from a crazy person, and that video was shared all over the place. And, hey, I know that guy. I follow him, and then it kind of blew up. So it's something that you, in your natural habitat of just doing what you love, whether you're a tattoo artist, whether you're a street performer, whether you're a hip hop artist or you do a podcast, whatever you do and you love, it's contagious, man. It inspires others to pursue the things that they love.
Well, there's no, there's your, what is there? There's your soul, your spirit, your mind, your body, right? So, and then you're alive, but you don't know your body and your mind, right? You don't know how long this is going to be. And sorry, I don't know where I'm going.
So was there a shift that happened, or shift that occurred to where you were like, okay, this is what I'm going to do? Was you in the 9-to-5 hustle and bustle? Was you trying to keep up with the Joneses at any point, or have you always been on this path? I think for a lot of people, there's like a defining moment when they choose to be consistent, when they choose to kind of make those choices to show up and do what they love for a living, those type of things. Was there a defining moment for you, or just kind of flowed into it?
I gradually floated into it. I mean, I was doing video editing freelance, which I occasionally do, like music videos, editing videos. But my life is not motivated by money. It's motivated by what's the next level of my existence to evolving. There's more than just, there's always more than just this. What's our greater selves like? And a lot of it is like our issues with this planet is we see ourselves as separate. Love is not a major thing that's important. And then, we're not always present, to this moment. And I'd rather, in order to do this, you have to become the example. And then you have to tell people like what they already know, that you have a choice. You are awake. You are love. You are now. I mean, it's like this trick where we play this intense game, and in a way you got to see it as a game, because we're spirits, we're souls in a body. We're not a body trapped in a soul. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You ever hear?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And we're not here to help. We're not here to. I mean, it'd be nice to have a nice income, But we're here to beyond our egos. We're here to, like, maybe I'm doing a terrible job. But you still got to keep at it. you know, there's people who are very wealthy and they're not happy, you know? So it's like, what's on your day-to-day consciousness? What are you repeating the thoughts? You know, that's where your focus is. That's where the wealth is. Wealth is, you know, it's an illusion. It's like, where do you feel? And I would want people to do the same to me. I would want people to smack me around and wake me up. You know, we're not, you know, I don't know. I mean, I know that I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but awakening is very important, you know? Like, to myself, I still need to be awakened. Other people need to be awakened. We drive for something that's out of the ordinary. It's an awakening. And I mean, I like that you know, I mean, we're not to seek always is we seek, but then we're always in a state of searching for deeper meaning, and then we get stuck. Another thing is to realize that we're already there. Mm-hmm. You know, we already have everything we need within.
Yeah, you need nothing outside yourself. You already have everything within. That's what I like about the scriptures. The Bible talks about the kingdom of heaven being within you, and it lets you know that you don't need anything that anybody's selling you. You already have all the tools, everything you need to go within, to experience whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? To have that joy. You don't need something outside of you to complete
you. It's a reminder. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. And we feel, I mean, and it's like we're kind of working against this system that's set up, because they present items and clothing and stuff like, hey, you need this. This will make you, you know, feel happy. And then once you buy that stuff, or that stuff calls out to you because of programming, because of advertising, you get it. You feel good right when you get it. And then an hour later to it, you're like, why did I buy this? I just wasted money on this, or whatever the case is. But it's the knowledge of self and being okay and knowing that you already have everything that you need. Like, nothing is going to complete you. Nothing outside of yourself is going to complete you.
Right. Yes. And in a way, what I do is it's like a reminder. Mm-hmm. So in a way, an awakening is kind of like, it's reminding you of everything you just said right now. You know, you have, you know, you don't need anything. You have exactly, you have it.
You've dealt with probably every emotion under the spectrum, you know what I'm saying? Out there performing, doing what you do. You've had people want to fight you. You've had people in tears. You've had people, all types of stuff. Talk a little bit about, like, the best case scenario versus the worst case scenario. And I know you've probably experienced majority of it. You've been harassed by the cops. You've been harassed by drug addicts and things like that. Talk a little bit about some of those crazy experiences that have happened.
Well, it's just part of the
day-to-day.
It's part of the day. It's part of the day-to-day.
Comes with the territory.
I mean, the best moment is people interact and they're laughing and they're crying in a way. And then the worst is someone threw like this. They had a cup of some nasty liquid and they threw it on me. And that kind of sucks because it was kind of cold out. Or, you know, sometimes people are watching me and they're, it's almost like they feel bad. But, you know, that's good. I realize all those reactions are good because it's better than, you know, here we are, we're in our reality. It's better than doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like don't wake up, don't live, and then just interact. Like find your unique way to interact with the world, because it's the interactions that they, because what I do, it's not about me, it's about the world around me. Like you as an individual, you are okay. We are one. There's a new thing that I say. I have a sign that says, "We are all one. There is only you," which means that if there is only you, then everything, you are creating the world. I mean, you're everything. You're God. You're everything that's not God. Your fear, your love, but you're creating it. And if you don't see that power that you have, like, and again, the reminder, if you don't see that power that you have, it's very weird, because you can't comprehend it inside your infinity. You can't comprehend it. But how could you be everything? How could you be everything? And then how could you be everything? The answer is because you and me, we're one. We're one. It's almost like we're God right now talking to ourselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not separate. Like this is like there's this thing in our brain that forgets who we are, and then but we're not separate. We're talking to ourselves. But maybe I'm not. I'll shut up now. What do you have to say?
Eerily similar to Jim Carrey and what he's going around talking about now. Like we're all one, and we're all atoms and all of this stuff, and like just stepping away from the identity and the persona and a legacy or something that he's had and had all of this wealth and stuff in life, and finding out that stuff doesn't make you happy. It's about showing up. It's about doing what you love, no matter what that is. He gets to do what he loves, and very similar to what he's saying. And a lot of people are saying the same thing. A lot of people are having, these spiritual awakenings, these conscious awakenings of who they are, that we are all connected. We are all God experiencing itself. There's a notion that we are all one body, one people. I mean, I have the tattoo of the flower of life, and that's essentially what that means. We are all connected. Everyone is another form of you experiencing themselves. And so when you see someone lashing out, when you see someone who's having a hard time coping, like the compassion for them is because you feel like it's yourself going through that. I mean, even people who are like very empathic, you can feel like the different emotions and stuff that people are going through, because you felt that way before, being empathic and having a heart for those people. And maybe in a sense as well, you have a heart for people who can't break that shell. I think deep down there's a kid in all of us who want to laugh, who want to dance and do some of the things that when they say you performing on the street and those people get into it. But how many of the people want to do that, but they can't break the shell and they just walk on, but they're like on the cusp, on the verge? Has there been people who like they see you on their commute and then eventually they eventually join in?
Yeah, that happens. I mean, eventually they see you. And I mean, a lot of it also is they want to be comfortable with this person. They want to know that when I first started, I mean, people thought I was maybe a heroin addict. They were scared, but
yeah, people are giving you money. You're like, I don't want your money. Take it back. Dancing. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I always had I always had a bucket or something,
Mm-hmm.
I don't ask for money, but if people want it, I mean, I'm not going to turn it down.
Yeah.
Because it's almost rude to turn it down because they're giving it out. That the only way they know how to express love is to give something, you know?
There's a comment in the chat right now. Someone by the name of Bloodsport says, Matt, I see you every day at Union Square dancing, wacky dancing Matt.
That's me, wacky dancing Matt.
I mean, talk to you about this because, like, I've seen the connection with people who, like, are spiritual healers and they're in the spiritual movement. They're trying to bring about healing to humanity in the ways that they know how. And one thing that myself and a few other people who I've talked to had in common is that growing up in school, we were the class clowns. Like, we always wanted to see people laugh because there's like a magic that happens, man, when you can people. I love I'm essentially wacky dancing Matt at home with my family. Like, I have these silly dances and things. And so to see the smile upon my family's face, to keep, there's like never a dull moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're always the energy that's released when people are enjoying themselves, and even you're the one facilitating that. There's like a gratification that comes that you're making their day or their experience a little bit easier and bringing joy to people's faces. Can you experience that at all? Was you the class clown, or would you like that in school, telling jokes, making people laugh, doing little silly things when the teacher wasn't looking and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was a class clown. I was I did this thing during gym intercession where they would change the classes at gym, and on the bleachers, everybody would just sit for one day until they changed all their classes, and they would sit for like 30 minutes. And so one day I got up and I performed in front of them, and the teachers let it happen, and everybody was into it. So, I mean, I could say I was a scared class clown because I didn't always come out,
Yeah.
I didn't always come out, but I always had it in me. I mean, it took a while for me to do the stuff in the street. I didn't really start doing it until I was like 25, 26, But I always had it in me to start doing it when I was maybe 17 or 16. But I did things. I guess the thing I did in the bleachers at high school, I mean, the thing is I performed in front of those bleachers. But the only reason I did that was because some kids, they said, "Oh, I'll give you money if you flex your muscles in front of these girls or whatever." And so I started doing that, and then I needed an excuse, money.
Yeah,
it's just weird. Like
the excuse is like the scapegoat.
I don't money. It's just like a lot of times when I perform on the street and I'm not making a lot of money, and people say, "You're stupid. You're not making any money. Why would you be doing that?" It's just like that gets to me. Why would you need an excuse to do anything for money? Yes, we need money. I get it. We all fucking need money, But why do you need an excuse to do what you love? Why are we in that low grade of unconscious behavior?
Yeah.
You need to rip off your skin and do, not to hide your fucking self, And that's what we're all, in a way, more or less, we're dealing with. Like, oh, I need to make money in order to be a wacky guy.
Yeah.
No, people are going to be inspired by anything that has nothing to do with money. But then, then we have hell and Satan. We have Trump. What the fuck is all that all about? We still have a large percent of the as big as the percentage of the population that has reached a level of awakening and consciousness. We have the other half, which is a large percent of the population that's asleep and they don't give a shit. You know, maybe it's because of the pollution. Maybe it's because of all the bad food that everybody's eating and stuff. You don't feel connected to what's going on. I don't know. You know, maybe it's the religion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Religion keeps you trapped. You know, religion is not spirituality. It's a dogma. It's a whole. You know, it takes what an enlightened person like Jesus spoke and then puts it in a rule book. Well, Jesus didn't want the rule book. Mm-hmm. He didn't ask for the Bible but there is, again, like you said, there's some enlightening things from the Bible. But then when you make a whole wrong and right, because in true spirituality, there's no wrong or right for anything that you're doing in the world. So you gotta, like, it's good that you have that, but you have to take that and create something new with it. You know, everybody's a visionary. You know, I don't know. I went off some kind of rant.
That was good, man. What are so whenever you go downtown and you perform, I think that character's a part of you, right? It's a little bit it's something that's already within you, and you just get to let it out a little bit more than others. And it's a performance as well. There's an art to it and things because you're totally playing a character. But how is it? How hard or easy is it, or was it, to kind of turn it off and on and jump into character? And what happens when you go into character? Do you feel like a different person? I mean, what happens there?
Person. You know, I'm basically, when I'm in character, I'm basically I'm
Is
following.
it almost like channeling a little bit, essentially? Like you're letting this person, you like, have your body and be this, like, the thought process changes, everything change. You become this crazy person on the street. Like, you become that. You're not acting. You become
not
that.
Crazy person, but spiritual person. I'm not trying to push any beliefs on anybody. I'm just trying to see who's going to interact. And I mean, it's just interact or change consciousness or wake up. Or now I splurt out some messages like that, that can be hard for people to grasp. Like I said, we are all one. There's only you. Love is all there is, which is a hard, it's a concept, but there's behind the energy of creation is love. It's just like, it's like a glue that,
mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's hard to like prove, but I believe. I also believe that it's just like we've created this unconscious fear energy. It's unconscious. It's unconscious that the planet is at war with each other. It's unconscious that people put each other down and discourage each other. It's unconscious. This much of the planet has grown unconsciously. It's not. So it's almost like we have to, in order to evolve, we have to make a conscious decision to create more love in the world. And again, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about what you're putting out there, and then it reflects back to you, right? Love. It's a big mirror. This is a mirror. I put out this good energy into the world, and it's come back to me. It's come back to me. So I'm inspired to put out even more,
Yeah, because it's working, and it's just like this. It's a beautiful cycle, and like I said, I think that it encourages other people to do the same thing with their art, with their creativity. when you see someone else thriving and being authentic, doing what they love, you know what I'm saying? That for me, it was huge. And there were so many different examples that I could use of whether they're hip hop artists and they do what they love for a living, they wake up and they get to do it, yoga teachers, spiritual leaders, like, versus being stuck in this other place, playing this other role that you don't want to play. Like, whether, for me, I played the role of a truck driver for over 10 years at a particular job. I didn't want to play that role. I learned while I was there. I studied and it pushed me towards like making that leap of faith to do what I want for so long. Because obviously, if you're at something that long and you have that much time, and a truck driver, you're stuck in this box with your own thoughts for 12, 15 hours a day, thinking of the things that you want to be doing that you're not doing. And then when you would see videos like yours or listen to podcasts similar to this one, it's like, man, it can be done. Other people are doing it. And it's like the okay that it can be done. It's something that you can try, or essentially the permission. I think that you living your life and it's working and you're doing what you love is permission. I even say that sometimes. I'll say, look, you have my permission to follow your heart. If that's what people are looking for, like they're looking around like, am I the only one that's going to jump? No, you have my permission. Do what you were called to do. It's debatable, but I guess we have one life to do it. Why would you get to the end of the road and say, man, I wish I would have did that. I wish I would have pursued my dreams and followed my intuition, followed my gut, but I had to play this role because my family wouldn't have understood me. They wouldn't have agreed with it, whatever the case is. I have these conversations with friends who now I'm the envy to them. Man, I wish I was doing what you're doing. Well, look, you can. It's a process. What do you want to do? Let's take this journey together. I want to help you. And so you being you, I don't think there's any other formula. You're just doing what you know to do, what you love to do, what drives you. It moves people to jealousy. It moves them to want to do it. But it's a good thing. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. It moves them to evaluate themselves and like, man, what led me here and how can I get out of it to do what Matthew's doing or TruthSeekah or whoever the case is. So that's the power and the magic of just being authentic and not, you have the personas and stuff, but just not playing those roles or wasting time doing this other type of stuff. There's magic in that.
Yes.
Was there people for you that did you look at people? And I mean, I know we all have inspirations of whether it was performers or spiritual leaders or whatever the case is. Was there people that you looked at that kind of said, you know what, I can do this, or this person would kind of help me restore my power to think that it's possible? I mean, I think all the spiritual gurus and stuff are essentially talking a little bit about this.
Yeah, no, it's like you said, I didn't believe in myself in the beginning, but I was always inspired by Andy Kaufman, Alejandro Jodorowsky, just a lot of comedians and stuff, and I always wanted to do something make a lot of people laugh until it hurt, But then, in this stage of the world, it's like now doing something like, because it feels like we're at the verge of the tipping point, like the where the planet can go really bad,
Yeah.
And so to me, like what's really important is the real conscious awakening, a conscious awakening, to the reminder that, so that's what it inspires. Also, you know what else we didn't talk about, but whatever you're doing on this planet is going to help everybody, So the permission to that we don't really need, but we need somebody to say it sometimes, right? By you following your heart, you're helping out everybody. People don't see it that way, but the majority of this planet is not following their heart.
Yeah.
The majority of this planet is building an unconscious tumor.
Yeah.
Like a massive cancer that just grows, and that's, in a way, it's like metaphorical. Everybody's getting cancer and stuff, and it's just like it's producing cells, dead cells that don't mean anything. That doesn't. But if you're doing something that's inspiring other people, the real energy, and I mean that's
the fulfillment that you get out of following your dream, even if you don't achieve it, of trying,
exactly,
of being on that journey to where you feel like your life has purpose. The fulfillment that you get from that outweighs being stuck in the truck for 10 years, building someone else's dream. Essentially, somebody had that idea, somebody put that energy or put that money up and created this business that now I'm falling in place to create.
But let's just say that person you drove the truck for, maybe it's not even a dream. Maybe it's like, well, I got to make money and I want to make as much money as possible. It's
their default, but it just happened to have a better hand than my default. Yeah.
That might not have even been it's uninspiring.
Yeah.
They were probably bad to you. Were they bad to you as workers and stuff? Like they just saw you as a tool or something.
Yeah, you're a commodity. You're replaceable. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean. Like
a machine could do your job. Yeah.
Right. It's a tumor. It's like you were working for something that didn't have anything to do with a dream. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what most people are working for. They're working for, there's nothing, it's like, it's going to build all this stuff, but nobody's going to want any of it.
Yeah.
Production, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's unconscious. It's like, oh, we got to make a lot of money, so the best way to do it is mass production, but then we use a lot of people. It's hurting, it's I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just hurting us all,
Have you read The Alchemist?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Really good as far as like recapturing your dream. And I talked to somebody yesterday. It was about, recapturing your dream. Some people never had a dream. They did, and so it's like, finding your dream to begin with, like they didn't never have that inspiration to do this, or this is my life goal. Most of us are kind of going back, recapturing what we wanted to be when we were kids. Like it was always there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But some people are like trying to find out their purpose and what they're supposed to be doing now. They never had that revelation of this is what they're missing out on. You know what I'm saying? Until I think for some people it comes later in life too.
Yeah, sometimes they say the age is like 50. That's the age of like enlightenment,
Yeah.
That's when you. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I just remember, man, just kind of coming, even in tears, man, just like thinking about like what age should you give up on your dreams? Like if you were supposed to look at it, like you got to be a productive member of society, raise a family, those type of things. So do you give up on your dream? Because I have people who say like, okay, now that you have kids, like it's time to invest in their dreams. You're done. Like those type of, you know what I'm saying? What age, when do you finally say, okay, you know what? It didn't work out. Let me drive this truck with all my might, or whatever the case is. I have friends who were in that. They still have that inward feeling. They have kids. I have a daughter as well.
Wow, you got a daughter.
Yeah, and so to be able to do that, so there can't be. I think the risks are a little bit different too. So every move kind of has to be calculated when you have a lot more riding on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I have people who have kids and they want to do what you're doing. They want to do what I'm doing. Like, that it poses a bigger problem, and it makes you sit there. And like I said, I sat there in tears. Like, when do you give up on it? Like, is this the age? Like, should I give it another year? When do I get? And just when I didn't give up, then it started working. You know what I'm saying? Like moving past that and say, okay, strategically, how can we make this work? Is it something feasible? Can I keep the lights on? You know what I'm saying? Those type of things, man. And it becomes this inward struggle, you know?
Yeah.
Having a lot riding on it makes it a little bit harder to jump because you're not just jumping by yourself. You got a kid on your back, you know?
And are you still with your wife? Or?
Yeah, we're still together, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're jumping with the whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. I don't have kids, so I don't,
But I had people telling them like you should give up. People who are living their dream. I got a buddy of mine who owns a float tank shop, right? Awesome dude, and he loves what he's doing. And isolation, sensory deprivation tanks.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he owns a shop in New Orleans, and he told a buddy of mine who's like, he's like, look, you just got to give up, man. You know, you got kids, your time's come and gone. You know, you just need to give up on your dream. And I don't think that's fair. You know what I'm saying? I think that there's ways to make it work, you know? Even if you have to do without, you have to provide. Like there's that sense of being a provider there as a father. But there's still ways, man. I think there's still little things that and this is just what works for me. There's little things daily that you can do while you're driving on that job. There's emails, there's when the kids are asleep or whatever. There's things you can do to kind of put that brick in building that dream, man. That what you want to do. It's working for me, you know, but it wasn't easy, you know. And I don't think people should give up on it, though, you know.
Right. No. Well, see, there's the thing, like you are enlightened in this way because, I mean, I'm not enlightened in that way, you know. You would know because you're
different experience, yeah.
But you're setting the example. That's why it's so important to have God, you know, split up in different. But you're going to inspire other people. You're
fathers,
yeah. Well, like what you just said. I'm sorry. You're setting the example, which is by following your dream, you're enlightening other people.
Yep. That's how it works. And like I said, just showing up, being authentic.
Showing up. 100% is showing up. Yes.
Yep. And being consistent. And even with this podcast, I talk about all the time. Like there was times where, like I said, I've been doing this a long time, but it's only been probably the past year where it was consistent. You know what I'm saying? Where every week, you know, you're gonna get multiple shows a week. I'm gonna be here. We're gonna, you know, versus like, okay, we did one show this month, and then the next month we did 2 shows, and it was just sporadic whenever I felt like it, whenever I had the time, versus whenever I made time and took it to that next level. And then I think with consistency, man, people, you know, it's a sense of comfort of consistency, especially when we're coming from a place where there's people don't have much consistency in their lives. They need someone to show up. They need someone to be there. Whether you're doing a podcast, whether you're the guy who makes people laugh in the streets, like this is what you do. You're showing up, doing what you love, man, and it brings healing to the planet. It brings inspiration to people, inspiration and creativity, man. Like that means something else. That means something different to each person. But if you can inspire them to do that, inspire them to create something good, something beautiful, something wonderful, especially creating something that didn't exist, whether it's some form of art, usually, you know, and you've always have the term of the starving artist, you know what I'm saying? People, and that would just let you know that, look, it's going to be a sacrifice, but it can be done, you know?
Yeah, it's better to struggle and do what you love rather than struggle and
do what you hate. Yeah,
do what you hate.
Yeah, most people are struggling in both situations anyway.
Yes, you're gonna end up struggling in either situation anyway.
Yeah,
you have to be awakened to the point, the truth that you have a choice in any situation. You just have to like build an awareness to it. You have to take, you have to know inside, you know what I mean? You have to communicate with your inner God, whatever, your inner child God, or whatever you want to call it. You have to communicate, and you like bad energy is like guilt, feeling guilty, like I'm not worthy, doubting is, it's okay to have some healthy doubt, but
Yeah.
like bad negative doubt, like I'm not, or getting discouraged, or it's true what they say is like, have you ever heard like fear is an illusion?
Yeah.
And
False
love
evidence.
is real.
False evidence appearing real. Yeah.
What?
I think it's false evidence appearing real, something like that. Fear, FEAR. False.
I've never
evidence.
heard that acronym before, but that's really cool. But fear is an illusion, and love is the only thing that's real. That means you make that if you're making the moves to create something that's good inside of you, but it's also inspiring others, you can't go wrong. You have a knowing that if you're on a path of soul, that something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're on a path of I don't know, it has no soul, it's just about stuff or getting from A to B, or it has nothing to do with the process.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're stuck.
Yeah. There's, like you said, there's those healthy fears, and healthy doubt at times. But it's the fear of failing that some people have that they can't get past. Like they would rather not try because they don't want to fail. The fear of rejection. A lot of those people who I've had conversations with, it's not that they're not fearing that they're not going to make money or something, but there's people who fear of what other people are going to think about them. That part of moving past that. I mean, that's totally something you've had to do because you get a little bit of everything though. But the stamp of approval that people are looking for from even their families. You know what I'm saying?
Get it. Nobody gives it to you.
And they're already talking about you anyway. Those family members who, so rather them talk about you while you're doing what you love and it's working for you and you have this motivation to show up versus them talking about you or looking down upon you in your default state. You're just there and they're talking about you. Like they're talking about you regardless. And they have opinions and stuff like that. And you can't be moved by, you can't find your worth. You can't be moved by the acceptance of others. I mean, if that's the case, then we're going to be stuck. But if it is the case for some people looking for that approval to do it, here's us telling you to do it. You have our permission to follow your dreams and follow your heart, and you can do it, man. Anyone can. I don't think we're special. I don't think that there's like, there's only a few people who can do it. Like I've thought about that in the past, right? Only a few people get to follow their dream. That's that fear and doubt that came to me. Not everybody can do it. I have kids now. I have this, my time has come and gone. I think I moved past that and I'm doing it. And I think that everybody can do that. If they follow, I believe in, we're talking about how spirituality applies to all this. I believe in universal laws. I believe in, manifesting things through thought and then through love and through confessing it and speaking it out and things like that. And I've seen that come to play in my life. So it's not like I'm chosen or special. I think we're all chosen and special, and we all have the same abilities. We all share the same 24 hours in a day. Like we all have that. And so what we do with that time, those people I've had that conversation who they say, TruthSeekah, I want to do what you're doing and one day I'm going to do it. Like I want to believe them, but I'll tell them like it's practical. Like you have to do something today. You have to take that seed, put it in the ground today for it to sprout a week from now, 2 weeks from now. Then the next day you got to water it. You may have to cultivate that ground. You may have to dig up some of that hard dirt and get the clay out of there and put some soil in it. Like, you have to do something today in order for it to manifest tomorrow. You don't just like dream about it and think about it. That's one thing. I believe in getting the vision, but there's practical steps, man, and doing what you love for a living. I tie spirituality into it. That's how it worked for me, and that's how it's continuing to work. These spiritual practices of love and gratitude and helping others along the way. Like, it goes so far to know that. So to know the spiritual power of you showing up. Like, we had the conversation. Now people are going to be conscious and aware that, okay, this person's doing what they love. Like, there's a spiritual connection there because they're doing what they love to do, and money can't buy that. You can't, like, there's nothing you can trade me to do that, whether it's all the wealth in the world or all the riches in the world, to go to a job and do things that I don't want to do. Like, you wouldn't do that in a relationship with somebody. You wouldn't take somebody out on a date and take advantage of them and make them do things they wouldn't want to do. So why would you base your entire life living for the approval of others, and you doing things outside of your character that you know you shouldn't be doing? You never do a business deal like that. You never take orders from somebody to make you feel less of a person, but we're doing it every day. We got to break free from that mold, man.
And that's it.
With that, yeah, man, it's empowering, man. I thank you for showing up. I thank you for being consistent, doing what you're doing. Your videos have inspired me, and I'm sitting here reading in the chat. I know you can't see the chat, but there's tons of people just saying, we love you, Matthew. Matthew Silver is a very special person. Love what he's doing to shift perceptions. Just tons of comments of people just thanking you for doing what you're doing. So, thank you, man, for doing what you do, and thank you for spending this time with me on here.
Yeah.
We can keep going. I don't.
What?
We can keep going. We don't have a certain time. It's up to you. Like,
oh no, I don't. I didn't know. I didn't know what you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, it's about. I mean, that was beautiful what you just said. You know,
hope it inspires somebody, man, because it's podcasts and episodes like that inspired me. You know, hearing other people talk about, like,
yes,
there's some people who
it awakens me. What you just said awakens me. You know,
there's people who have the answers, but they want to keep it to themselves. You know, like those people exist too.
Yeah,
because they're scared to lose it. Like, what
are we losing? That's we have this illusion that we're going to lose something.
Yeah, a following, you know, notoriety, someone else. Yeah, for real. Yeah, there's people afraid of that. There's people who would tell you to, you know, don't listen to TruthSeekah because, you know, you're gonna have this inward desire. You're probably not gonna, after a rant like that or you know, an ayahuasca ceremony, like, you're going to go to work. You're probably going to be depressed when you go to work, when you get in that truck. You know, there's an inward desire, like, man, I gotta do something. You're not going to be, you're not going to feel complete unless you do it. That's what happened to me, you know. And it brought a depression. I don't know if you've ever experimented with psychedelics or psilocybin or ayahuasca or anything. It kind of goes hand in hand with some people's version of spirituality, but I think there's a form of depression that kind of can come with that. I know it cures depression, heals depression, but I'm approaching it from a way that it will make you depressed. If you go to the edge of reality and you find out that you're not your job and you're not fulfilled or defined by what other people say about you, and you are the universe experiencing itself, and then you show up and then you're going to clock in at some place that you loathe to be, like, that causes depression, but it's a healthy thing. That it's like
that's an awakening.
Flight. Yeah. The awakening. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's another level of it.
The awakening, and to see that you have been sleeping, and to see that you have choices here and there, and I mean, just take out your journal and see where you have all the. How do you plan? Do you plan with visuals, pictures, or note taking? And
I've got a board or big sheet of paper written down with all my goals on it.
Oh, okay.
And there's spirituality and practicing just simply writing your goals down and achieving them and speaking them and thinking about them and then so you have to be consistent with them though. Like you have to show up and
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I just wanted to. You've been saying show up a lot, and here, I mean, they can't see the video, right?
Yeah, those who can't will explain what we're looking at. Yeah.
I just wrote out like my. I just want to read my mission statement. So on the top of it, I said 100% is showing up now. You know. Mm-hmm. So I find it cool that you keep telling me it's about showing up, you know. And then I wrote, we are shifting the planet to love consciousness with the gift of love. Love is all there is. We are all one. There is only you. Love yourself. Know who you really are and choose who you wish to be. And I wrote, I am one love, awaken now, and I choose to be the greatest version of one love, awaken now, so it is true. And then I wrote 100% is showing up now. But yeah, if you, I mean, at the very, yeah, I'm just emphasizing what you've taught me.
You have to take those steps towards it. You know what I'm saying? And having, I think that I talk about like confession and stuff and having those ideas. Like a lot of people have the dream, whether you want to be a basketball player or a football player, or you want to be a comedian or a podcaster. Like you can have that vision or that dream or that imagination that it would be good, but until you confess it and then you start doing things and like speaking it out. My big thing was on a psilocybin encounter, magic mushrooms or whatever. I had a thing where we're just kind of going in to get vision, and I visited a friend, or somebody who's a friend of mine now, but she's a Reiki practitioner, and she does what she loves for a living. She heals people through spirituality and spiritual practice for a living, and that was one of those things too. So I went and seen her. Then we did the psilocybin encounter, and just had this huge drive within me to be like, man, I want to be a healer. I want to do what she's doing. Like I want to heal people for a living. And then like I'm having this communion with God and myself, and it's like, no, you already are. You don't want to be, or one day you'll be a healer. You already are. And then I begin to see different things that I do in life, whether it's, you know, spiritual practice or just my music, you know what I'm saying? These things that are healing people. And it's not that something outside of yourself, like we're talking about, or one day I'm going to be a healer. One day I'm going to be this or that. I already am. And to know that it's already within you.
It's already within you.
That for me was the permission. I wasn't looking at the approval or one day I will be granted to become a healer. I look at the ways I'm already healing humanity and people through conversation and connecting people and all of this stuff. And that was like the permission as well, you know, that it's already within us. And but then there were goals and things that were written down. There were goals, you know, in that experience that I knew that it's like a game plan or a map on how to achieve it, you know, in those conscious moments of meditation, of prayer, of, you know, solitude. And that's important. I think that's turning off the default though, too. Like we have to like focus on the now moment. We put our consciousness sometimes so far ahead of ourselves. And I'm guilty of this in the past. And even now, if I'm not careful, my mind will be set from event to event. Like I'll have a concert coming up, and weeks and days will go by where my mind is only thinking about, I can't wait to this concert. I can't wait to this. And it'll make it where I'm not in the moment, consciously creating, aware of everything beautiful around me, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whatever. It's just the trees and the air and breath and things like that. Because our consciousness is so far ahead of ourselves. And it's about coming to that now moment, whether it's done through a psychedelic or meditation or breathing, reading, you know, stargazing, all of this stuff. There's so many different practices, man, that help us to be mindful about our life, our thoughts, and what we're trying to create. And I always, those are the things that I tell people, like, that's what I'm doing, and it worked. Like, it helps you to be mindful of the choices and decisions that you're making to achieve the dreams. Nobody's going to hand it to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's going to do it, but I think you owe it to humanity, and you owe it to, like you said at the beginning, what's the most important thing, yourself. Like, you know that's going to make you happy to wake up and perform every day, or wake up and have a beautiful conversation with someone that's going to help change lives and inspire people. Like, the man, there's no words to really describe it. The situation I was at 6 months ago to where I am now. It's like those dreams. Like, I'm doing what I love for a living. I'm living my dream right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like done. This is the beginning. You know, we're just building up upon it. And I think that if you're consistent to follow, like, here's my sheet. It's pretty crumpled up. I'll keep it up under me. But I have my sheet here too with the goals and the things. And in my wallet, I have the goals written down from the psilocybin encounter. Things I need to change about myself. Like, look, if you want to go to this next level, you have to quit doing this. You have to quit doing that. I would smoke cigars to help pass the time in the truck, like help keep me awake, because I would, I get tired and stuff. So instead of, taking a bunch of no-dos, I would either chew gum or smoke a cigar, and it would be like so many hours. Like, look, you can't do that. You got to quit smoking cigars if you want to go to this next level. And it's this helpful evaluation with God and yourself. And have you ever had a spiritual encounter like that with psilocybin or ayahuasca? I know that's a big thing right now. A lot of people are taking trips to the Amazon and stuff.
I've done a ayahuasca ceremony.
Was it similar to that, or like this self-discovery or going within? And
yeah, it's about like you get to hear all your voices. Well, for me, it was just like all the illusions, they were coming up, like whoosh, whoosh. Like negative and positive. It was all like I got to see this cycle a little bit differently. Like
you got to see the stuff you needed to change too, right?
Yes.
To stop those cycles that are negative and stuff, and how to facilitate the beautiful things that are happening. And
yes,
it's awesome.
And, I haven't done anything in a while, but
yeah, you don't have to.
They're helpful when they. I feel like they're very helpful when you're doing it for spiritual reasons. Yeah. But if you're doing it for just
party,
the time or party. I've seen people just do it at raves and then the one thing I don't like is like they go to these raves and they're blasting this huge speakers that sound like it's drilling oil and stuff, and you don't this hallucinogenic is supposed to give you time to think and be within, and then you have this music that's controlling. Yeah, it's infiltrating your brain in a way. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think this is just my opinion. The best way to do that is, you're with positive friends and you're in nature. Yeah. And
everybody has the same kind of goal in mind to do it. I've had those friends who we've done them together and we had beautiful, and it was a bunch of guys. Probably it was like maybe 5 or 6 of us, and we went out and we got a cabin out in the forest, and we did that, and man, amazing breakthrough just on psilocybin mushrooms, but it was really strong. Like, it felt like ayahuasca, that you left your body type stuff. Wow. But you got the revelation on your life and what to do and how to do it, and you feel like you're communing with something, what we call God or angelic and angels and stuff. It was really deep. And then the next week, my friends were like, "Hey, I'm ready to do it again." I'm like, "Bro, I just wrote down this big list of things I'm doing this strategically." And they're like, "Man, that was fun. I'm doing it again." I was like, "Bro, I wrote it's going to take me a while to process this information that came through." And they wanted, and want to do it like a party drug now. And I told him, no, I'm not doing it. I said, it may be 6 months, it may be a year. I may not ever do it. And I'm okay with that. But because this experience was so powerful for me, I had to write everything down because all the information that came through, then they go out and do it the next week in a different environment, in a party environment with friends who were just wanting to get high and have a good time. You know, he goes through the middle of this. We did it in secluded in the forest. He goes in the middle of the suburbs, neighbors everywhere. They have music blaring all the way up with the door wide open, so they're afraid that someone's going to call the cops, and they're on this hallucinogenic, and he's in the bathroom crying, freaking out, you know, and they're playing like demonic sounding music that is giving him visuals and stuff, and it was like night and day. So like the set and setting is like, you have to respect that stuff, man. You really do.
You have to respect the stuff. Some people don't respect it. I mean, a lot of people don't respect it. But you, like you said, you got what you needed to know.
Yeah.
You don't have to go back there again. You got what you needed to know. Like that's another problem with our world. We take things for granted too. It's just like, you know, you got what you needed to know, and you moving forward with that, you know?
Yep, that's what it's about. And like meditation, you know, the same type of thing. It's just about being mindful and whatever you have to do to kind of do that. I think that's part of the day to day, and that sometimes escapes us. You know, sometimes it's like I said, it's easy to kind of, even though I've got all these goals and listings, sometimes you don't feel like it. Like there's things you have to do to kind of motivate yourself, to stick that path out. Consistency is big with me because like, and maybe you can relate to this too. We've been talking about this a lot. Like being a person with like being very creative and having all of these ideas. I'm sure you have other. I've seen different skits and stuff that you do, and you kind of got to write out the script and stuff to perform them. Being very creative, it's easy to get sidetracked because you have all these really cool ideas, and you can create it, you can do it, you can spend time and energy on it. But then to do that, it would take away from the other stuff. People who are very creative, like myself, I do music, I do a podcast, I just started making beats. I'm a father. I got a husband, all kind of stuff to do. And if I start venturing into the other stuff, they're really great ideas. Awesome, good ideas. If we start venturing into that, the other stuff's going to suffer because we have ourselves just kind of spread out all over the place. But being consistent with what you know's working and for the things you're trying to build, if you want to see growth in it, you have to show up. You have to water. You have to cultivate the land. You have to water the seed in the plant. You have to take the weeds out from around it. It's essentially a full-time job. But can you relate to that at all? Is there other great ideas that you know that you probably could be successful at? They could even help people. They're good ideas, but you don't have enough hours in the day to do that, and just doing what you're doing because it's working. As you know, just being consistent to show up. Do you feel that inward dilemma as well? Being someone who's just like living in the land of creativity?
Yeah, I mean, I really like going out on the street and performing and stuff. But then, you know, you have this whole other thing like social media, right?
Yeah.
But social media is nothing about what I do on the street. It's not. You know what I mean? The social media just takes pictures, and then another part of me says, "Oh, maybe I want to get really good at social media, making short little videos, short little funny videos." And then that's another thing I could become. I could become a short little video maker.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Make these little funny
and be successful at it. Yeah,
and be successful at it. And there's a pull apart on my mind because, and then the other thing that I like doing is I like performing at night at venues, so that pulls it. Like you can only do so much. You can only do so much very well. So it's either I do the thing during the day consistently, or I either do the night venue thing and, you know, build up contacts through letting me perform on stage. or I build up the small video thing on social media. You know, you can create a big audience with that if you wanted to. You know, I mean, that's what you're using social media, right?
Yeah.
Main draw. I mean,
networking, you know, all of that stuff, you know.
But then you get conflicted, and you're like, oh, I should do it all.
Yeah, I get conflicted because, like, I have a lot of people who reach out to me, and I interview people a lot. Like, I don't know if it's a confidence thing or what, but I usually don't go live by myself a lot and just ramble. Part of me thinks that I can't, but I've done it before and it's been good. I have a lot of people who want me to do that. I have some guests on here. People are like, I don't like that guy at all. I don't like what he's bringing to the table, but I enjoy you doing your thing. So that's my conflict as well, too. It's like, well, you know, I'm networking with these people. Right now, I'm tapping into Matthew Silver's fan base and people who are going to look up his name, these type of things. And people who are really big who have come on the show and they'll tweet out the episode or whatever, and it gets thousands of views or whatever. It's part of networking. I've built my platform over the years, even with music. Like, I've featured a big name artist that I've paid, and now all their fans are fans of me because we've networked together. But part of that, like, now that I have a platform, people are like, well, I would rather it be just you. People are like, I don't like a lot of your guests, you know, but I love everything you share. So that's a conflict for me, you know, of like, you know, if I should do that or maybe do both or whatever the case is, or now that the platform's there, just keep going, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you should do it. You should just, I don't know. I mean, you're good at, you know, you make the pinpoints of what you're going to talk about. And if this is the next step, and you've had it, I mean, it seems like that's where you're going. You're going to just talk to you to the people.
I enjoy the conversation.
You're very inspirational.
I enjoy the conversation too, though, because for me, like, the spiritual conversation doesn't happen too much in my day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? I come from a religious background, and then I would do these,
What's your religion?
I was a Christian evangelist. I did Christian hip hop music and shared my stories at hundreds of churches over the years. You know, and yeah. So then now I'm doing this, and this opens up for, like, I'll talk a lot about aliens and UFO experiences and ayahuasca and stuff like that. So when I started doing that and still being in the church, but I wouldn't go to church and talk about that, or I wouldn't go to meetings or be around church people and talk about it. They would see the podcast, and then they would be like, hey, you know, they would tell people to stay away from me and avoid me and stuff like that. So
holy shit.
Rightfully so, though. Rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? If you have a religious institution and you got this guy, he's like, hey, man, these mushrooms changed my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you know, that you become a threat to what they've built. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of comes with the territory as well. I got mad. I got hurt over it early on because I thought these people were my friends, but I was a threat to what they were building, you know?
Yes.
I'm in the Bible Belt too. I told you I'm in Alabama, bro.
Oh, right. You're in Alabama.
Yeah. So it's totally different. Yep.
So what would you say your spiritual, but I guess now you're not, are you still into religion as much?
I'm into the philosophy and like I think I'm into what you're into, the love behind it. Like you're saying, the love that fuels everything. And I like to read the scriptures still and the stories, which I've studied. And I know them like the back of my hand. And I pull the spirituality out of it all and how it's all like allegory and relates to us and our bodies and our psyche and how we play those characters in the Bible. Like those characters are us. Like, just like the Bhagavad Gita, if you would read about these other gods and stuff, like those are our personifications that we play and we give homage to in different aspects of our life. Like, we become the Israelites running from the creator in the wilderness in a place where we have no idea where we are. And we have to deal with the golden calves in our life, you know, the different idolatry and things that have our heart it's not supposed to have it. And we're not being authentic. Like, all of that stuff is about it. It's not about like finding the historical King David and to give credence and prove that his story existed, that existed that proves your religion is right. It's about understanding that the power is in the story, even if this person never existed at all. But you're going to play the role of King David, and you got to face your own giants who are laughing at your face. Matthew Silver has big thugs coming in your face while you're performing, telling you need to pack up and leave right now. And you're facing your giant. He's like, okay, do I bow down? Do I just pack my stuff up and leave? Or I do what I'm put here to do, and I stand in the face of opposition, bringing love, hope, and unity and consciousness to the people and stay there. I've seen the videos. They're amazing. You know what I'm saying? And you have to face that, and you kind of go through. So that's what the religion means to me now, those stories and Jesus and all of that stuff. So essentially, I'm still a Christian, I guess I would say. I still really relate to those stories, but as far as like being religious, and because the church wouldn't have agreed with those statements or whatever the case is, right? So that definitely, and I'm not open to talk about mushrooms. I'm not open to talk about aliens and that. So as far as that concerned, I'm totally removed from that 100%. But I have my foundations in that stuff, though, you know?
Yeah, and see, you need like you said, it's like it's building a religion builds it builds something solid, and then it becomes very narrow-minded.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
So it's like they put like you just said, they put so much effort into it. So if you say anything that transverses it, that it's wrong. It's wrong.
His head, yeah.
So I mean, we're in a new age where, you know, we've taken, like, we need a new mythology. We need a new, and that's what a lot of us are doing. We're trying to recreate that, something, a new myth, a new story to live by, to equate your life by. And I feel like the only way to create that new story is by you creating the story. And somehow that's the awakening. Everybody just follows their inner story, and it all hits together back to one, you know, and it's an awakening, you know. But I mean, it's always an awakening. It's always it's something we need, something that's in our lives just more open.
Yep. And that was my awakening, though. So you know what I'm saying? Like, that was my foundation, and then the awakening is like, it's okay to be you, because like you have to give your persona away. You have to wear a mask. You have to play the hypocrite. You know what the hypocrite is? The performer in the Greek play who would play many different roles with a mask that would turn, and you had to be someone you wasn't. That's what the term. Hey, you're being a hypocrite, man. You're not being authentic, and so I don't think it's being a hypocrite from a religious standpoint of saying, like, in my case, you're into UFOs and you're talking about psilocybin and stuff like that, psychedelics. The hypocrite would be acting like I don't do that, and I've been there. Like, I had to like keep it hush hush and not tell anybody and act like, no, I'm not into that. No, you know, those type of things.
Painful?
Oh, big time, man. We're talking, yeah, huge. And but that's why this platform is growing, and I'm becoming successful with it because I transcended past that. I'm doing because I have a huge Christian following. Like, they like know my story.
Right. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? They know my music, and I'm not the only one. I'm their mouthpiece, essentially, because I'm telling their story from a Christian perspective. And it's okay to keep your belief in like your religious beliefs or whatever, and be okay to something as silly as listen to different music, have a beer, be a regular person, but still have your faith and your foundation, who these people would throw you away when they find out that stuff. They excommunicate you, they ghost you, and it's hard, bro. Like, it really is. And so a big portion of the fan base or whatever, or audience, is Christian, but not from a religious standpoint. Like, they're coming out of it into spirituality, and they want someone who's being open about their story. And I've been told not to. I've been told to be quiet. I've been told to, hey, you're going to lose your job if you're talking about mushrooms with Matthew Silver. Like, and I said, well, it's so powerful that I have to. Like, I can't not talk about this. If it's if this was a life-changing experience and you're telling me not to talk about it, like, it can help people, save people, change their lives, cure depression, but you want me not to talk about it for fear of losing my job. Like, I had to make that, and then there was that fear there. I had to block all my constituents at work on social media, those type of things, because if they would see it and show the boss, hey, TruthSeekah is talking about his mushroom journey this weekend, and he's showing up for work Monday morning, you know what I'm saying? Let's have a talk with them. They really, I mean, that happens on jobs all the time. So there is a healthy fear, and there is there's wisdom in it too. But your calling, your path, I wouldn't have been authentic to myself not to talk about it, and now it's paying off. It didn't at first. You're excommunicated. You're laughed at. You're a crazy person. All of this stuff.
Right in the beginning.
But then eventually, I mean, look what you're doing. When there wasn't an audience, now you have an audience, but you've been doing this for a long time when there was nobody showing up, nobody entertained or following you on social media. Now you have an audience, but they don't know that those early days, man, you just had to be consistent. And there wasn't an applause and stuff, but you knew that it was something in you greater that you were put here to do, and you did it, and you're doing it. It's a process. It's not overnight at all.
Recently I've been reading these books. Did you ever hear of Conversations with God?
Yeah.
Oh, so I've been reading these books, and one of the messages I thought was good is we are all one. Ours is not a better way. Ours is merely another way. I mean, that's it. That's the message. Like we're saying what you were saying before,
Yeah, I believe it, man.
I mean, talking about aliens or whatever, and the things that people find weird, but life is weird. It's not. It's weird to be enclosed and thinking there was only one way. Mm-hmm. It's your way. Will set the path.
If you're creating it, and when you said you're conscious of that you have a choice. Back then, I didn't have a choice. My friends who won't talk about that, they don't have a choice, but they need to find out that they do, and they can make it, and they can create it, and they're getting to the point where I was. You know what I'm saying? They're feeling like they're meant for something more than selling cars and tricking people at a car lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they're doing. And they feel like they know it's wrong, and they want to be doing music. They want to be doing, but there's practical ways to do it. And I'm just urging people just to write those goals down and make it happen. Be the Matthew Silver, be the TruthSeekah, be the Joe Rogan, whoever inspires you. Like, you definitely play I think I would be safe to say that you have played a role in me doing what I'm doing right now. So thank you for that.
Wow.
I would totally say that. Like I said, just you showing up, being you, and being okay with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, definitely. I've been watching your videos for years, bro. Like, I've been sharing them. Like I said, when there was only a couple, I think maybe even when you first started just your page, like I was just a friend on Facebook, and there would only be just a few people watching, to now when I tune into your live stuff, there's hundreds or if not thousands of people watching right after the video's done. Dude, I've been following, man. I appreciate your work. It's inspired me. That's why I wanted to make this happen, dude. And this is the 100th episode, so I'm good I finally got you on here to talk to you, man.
The century.
Yeah.
100. Wow.
Yep. We just hit it. So there's some people here. Most people are commenting in the chat, oh my God, Matthew Silver's here. This guy's a legend. I love his work. In the chat comment section, some people don't know what you do. Tell people how they can find your work. What's the best platform, whether it's YouTube or go to Facebook or whatever. What's the best way to consume your work, and how they can check out what you're doing?
I don't know, if they just do a Google search Matthew Silver or YouTube Matthew Silver, just Matthew Silver on Facebook, Google, or you'd find a piece here and there. I'm not very organized, but you'd see stuff. I mean, I'm a performer, I guess, for the awakening. You know, I'm in a bathing suit, and I fart in people's faces. You know, I call it a love fart.
I get to do it. Yeah, there's a release when people do that, man. Like something happens when people do that. The guy in the business suit who walks up and, you know, there's something that happens there, man.
Yeah.
You're helping, man.
Yeah, I'm doing my part, my little part, you know?
Let me ask you this. Okay, so you've had the look for a while, and then I've seen some videos come out where the beard was gone and the head was shaved. Did you cut your hair and shave your beard and then do some performances as well, or is that older stuff?
No,
it seems like you had the dreads and the long hair, then you shaved it all, right?
Yeah.
How did you feel when that happened? When you shaved it all?
It was like it was cool, you know. It meant I didn't have to live inside this box.
Really? So it was
we had our own boxes, and then
was liberating. It was liberating. Really? Wow.
Yeah, liberating.
See, I had long dreads for a while, and dreads down my back, and when I shaved them, I got depressed. Like I felt like I lost something that I worked for or whatever. So that's fun. I didn't know if there was something similar that you experienced through that, but it was liberating.
It was liberating, but I did feel like a little down at first because I wasn't something that I was.
Yeah, it's like your identity was found in that.
Not to be that, because you're always the real truth of reality is you're in the present moment and you're always recreating yourself. You're reawakening yourself every moment. So if you keep an identity for a while,
yeah,
and then you lose it, that's a good thing. That helps, you know. It helps.
Yeah. I definitely felt that, but I felt it's like an ego death too, like
ego death.
And there's a lot of spirituality linked with hair too, though. You know what I'm saying? And information and being as an antenna to be receptive to energies and things like that. Really, really deep stuff. So I wanted to ask you that. I didn't know if the performance changed or if it was harder to go out there. It's almost like wearing a mask. Like if you was like, because it's the personality. So now, was it different going out there, getting in the character again without having the beard or the hair, and just going out there being the wackadoo, or was it just like that? You was able to jump right in the character and stuff.
Yeah,
it would have been a little harder because you didn't have the look.
I was able to jump into character. People would say, "Oh, you shouldn't have cut the hair."
Yeah.
But none of us want to live by what other people see us as. You know what I mean?
You have to mess with them. Yeah, it's just like just a new layer of
don't let it's a new layer of being controlled by what other people think.
Yeah.
New layer. Like first you escape religion.
You could have got depressed and got like, damn, I shouldn't have cut my hair. I gotta wait till it grows out until I go back out there. Like you could have definitely done that.
Exactly. It just, I don't have to be this guy. There's nobody I owe for being God for the rest of my life. In a way, I've already done my good thing. Like you said, another good message is there's nothing you need to do.
Yeah. For approval, acceptance, anything.
Right. And so the only true path is your spiritual path, the path of your soul, not necessarily even the path of your mind and your body. I mean, it's almost the thing that connects you to God, that's what's important. And in a way, like cutting the hair was a way of saying this
shedding
is not
the skin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's not important. You know.
You're not defined by that. When someone would try to define you by your hair or this character, there's so much more, and that doesn't define you. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and I mean, it also has a point to like how at what speed you live your life. I mean, you can only do one thing really well, you know, and if not all of your attention and your focus is on what you're doing, and your head's in somewhere else, you kind of lose you lose yourself.
Because you're identified in these other things. You're letting other things define you. And like as we talked about earlier, like people do that with acceptance or rejection, you know, and you have to do something to be accepted. That's not God at all. That's what like turned me off to Christianity and the religion that I was in. Like I had to do something to be accepted by these people. When the God that I've read about or in the scriptures or Jesus, he loved you regardless. He loved you when you were a dirtbag and you did all of these things that were harmful to yourself. He still loved you, and that love of Christ for me is what like empowers you to change. And so that's the motivation. There is the love motivation behind my message, and I think it's behind yours too. The love that kind of encourages you to do what you're put here to do, to break the shell, to find out that love is really all that matters. Like all of this other stuff is going to pass away, but love, I think there's something eternal about that, man. Those good deeds and stuff of helping people, bro. I really do.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that stuff lasts, you know, it leaves a mark on people versus doing the opposite, right?
Instead of doing the opposite. I'm with you.
All right, bro. Hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode.
It's amazing, man. I didn't expect to talk this long, but thank you.
It was, you know what? It started out kind of slow, but we got into it, man. And there's a lot of people in the chat saying how they love you. You know what I'm saying? And these are people who follow my work, so it's so cool that a lot of them already know who you are. And then there's some people who don't know who you are. So make sure y'all check out Matthew Silver's work. Go to YouTube. There's a great video, and I'll put it in the description as well. It's called "The Meaning of Life from a Crazy Person." Someone edited it and put music to it. It's like this inspirational video, and he has conversations with people out in the open like this, like on a daily basis, and really funny stuff. Some of it's funny, some of it's motivational, but all of it, I think all of it matters, like the laughing and then the motivational with it as well. It's beautiful.
Can I just say one last note?
Go ahead.
Basically summarizing what you said, I think the most important message here is that God loves you no matter what you do. There's nothing that you... I mean, we talked about going after our dreams and stuff. Yeah. It's just knowing that knowing that you're not alone, and you know, God loves you no matter what. I mean, you be a screw up. That's it. I mean, that's awareness, you know? So
that's empowering. Like that's the permission. We're talking about the permission. Like to know that you're accepted and loved regardless of your failures. Like that's the permission. That love that enables you to go out and be the person you're created to be. Yes. You know, in whatever form. If that's in religion. Like some people find that in religion and they're gonna stay there. It works for them. They're successful. They're raising a good family. Like they're doing what they love to do and it's for them. But others, they're not satisfied with that. You know, they have to, you know, ask the bigger questions in life. They have to, you know, they have to get these things out of their head. You know, they have questions and they want answers, you know? Yeah. And so that's why I think stuff like this is important, whether we're talking about aliens or just, you know, it's just about, I think it all plays for me, like all of it's part of the same thing, you know? Of just, it's aliens for me. For someone else, it's, you know, something else. You know, I really enjoy that. I don't want to be, like you said, I don't want to be told that I can't talk about that. Yeah. Nope, you can talk about everything but that, you know. Don't talk about psychedelics. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. When it's part of you and it changed your life or whatever the case is. I think we should freely be able to speak about that kind of stuff, especially if it helps people. I think it helps people, you know.
Yes.
Help me. That's my story. All I can do is share my story with you, you know. Leave it up to Matthew to share his. Brother, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you. And I'd love to have you on again, man. We need to do this again sometime.
Thank you.
All right, brother.
All right.
Peace and shalom.
One love.
One heart.
One heart.
Shalom, bro. Peace.
Shalom.
Matthew Silver, ladies and gentlemen. I've been trying to get him on for a while. Really cool that we finally had the chance to make this work. Good interview. Started off a little rocky. Didn't know you were trying to find common ground, trying to build, and then not rocky. It was just, you know, a little bit slower there towards the end that we kind of both felt okay with one another. And it happens like that. I do a lot of interviews like that where you don't know how it's gonna go. Do we have common ground here? But we definitely did. I really enjoyed that. Like I said, and I don't think that's going out on a limb saying it either, that Matthew Silver, him doing what he's doing, has played a role in me doing what I'm doing for a living, of me showing up and being okay to walk in my truth and do it essentially for a living now. You know what I'm saying? And pursue that. Because you find out how depressed or miserable you'll be if you don't. You have to. And there's your permission. I just told you to. Go out and do it. Do something today that's going to build the life you want for yourself tomorrow. Something. Send an email. Trust me, I got people I'm trying to help. I can't force you to do anything. I can just share with you what worked for me. But do something today. Share an email. Write a lyric. Write a chapter. Write a page. Write a paragraph for your book that's within you that you want to do. You've been through something that can help somebody. Like, whatever those dreams you have within you, do something. I don't care what, email. If it's just sending an email, you want to do a podcast, send out an email to get your first guest. Like, there's so much you can do, man. And I hate the fact that I deal with people who won't, they claim they want it, but they won't do the work. Like, they won't send the email. Trust me. I've tried to hold people's hands through this stuff. And but they keep talking about it like it's a future thing that's going to happen. But it's not going to happen if you don't take that shovel, put that shovel in the ground, break up that stony ground, put the seed in there, cover it back up, water it, give it sunlight, nurture it. Like, you have to do something. You can't just have all these good ideas. They're just going to, everyone has great ideas. You know what I'm saying? So do it. I love you guys. Episode number 100. It's awesome. I'm about to come right back on. I got another interview right after this. Love you guys. Peace.
Your way so much higher than mine, so much higher than mine, so much deeper than mine, so much deeper than mine.
Well, that does it for this episode, folks. To hear more episodes of the TruthSeekah podcast, head over to TruthSeekah.com. And if you're wanting to support the show and get rewards, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/TruthSeekah.